Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. I see some people entering the room here now. I'm going to give it a couple seconds to populate. Good morning. Good morning. If you can go ahead in the chat box, a quick little note and write in the to section, make sure you're dropped down to all panelists and attendees and just introduce yourself and say where you're joining us from. Good morning, Jennifer. West Virginia again. I think you were here yesterday. Hi, Denise. Hello from West Virginia. A couple West Virginians. Trenton, New Jersey. Very cool. Hi, Peg. I think I saw you yesterday as well. In Calvert County, that's where I grew up. Katie, Danielle, good morning. Hi, Erica, Jacqueline. Great. People from all over. Hi, Jeff. Huntingtown, very cool. I grew up on the southern end of Calvert. Very cool. Correctional ed. Hi, Susan. Okay, awesome. So what I'm going to do before we get started is go ahead and launch a poll here so that we can see who's present with us this morning, just sort of like what your role is within your program, whether you're an instructor, instructional specialist, somebody in a leadership position. Hi, Rebecca. LaToya is responding to you. Okay, awesome. So lots of ABE instructors this morning. I'm going to share the results with everyone. So we have a couple of program administrators, mostly ABE instructors. So you're in a really great place. Today, we are going to learn about how Toya and PG Community College have created this pretty tremendous IET program. And full disclosure, Toya is really passionate about what she does, so she gets a little emotional in advance. We apologize, but not really, because I love to see it. My name is Gina Davis, and I am with the Department of Labor. I am the Professional Development Coordinator, so the grand poobah of the VTI, if you will. We have 26 sessions over 4 days. So we look forward, and I see some repeat names. So we look forward to having people at multiple sessions. All of our sessions will be recorded. So we're recording now, and they will be available on our website along with the PowerPoint slides and any handouts that are necessary. Don't quote me on this, but I plan to get them up before the end of the year. We will also offer proof of participation for those who request it, and I'll walk you through that at the end of the presentation today. But without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Toya, and we hope you enjoy.
Thank you, Jenna, and welcome everyone. Good morning. Good morning. It's a wonderful morning, and I am excited to give you this presentation. So my name is LaToya Harper-Williams, and I work for Prince George's Community College. I am one of the instructors there, and I'm also the academic advisor for our ESL department. So English is a second language. So I'm excited to be here. So I'm going to give you a briefing today. Hopefully it's exciting to you. It's so exciting to me, as Jenna said. So I'll try to keep my emotions in check. So I get really compassionate about the program. So we are at IET for PGC. What is it all about? How does it happen? I'm going to talk about how we kind of do these programs. I'm going to specifically talk about childcare today. So my title is Adult Education, the Childcare Training. Go to the next slide here. All right, so we started off by doing a career pathway. So we all had to get together at the college to see what can we do to make more programs, make the programs great for our students, especially our students in our ESL department. So we had to come up with some career pathways. And we know that students take a lot of different careers and they go different ways in life. So we worked and we partnered with some people. So I'm going to walk you through that. So in our career pathway, students are able to go to different things and they learn about different jobs. So we're going to walk through that here in a few seconds. So I'll go on to our career programs. All right, we have 3 programs now where we get our grant money and we're able to get some funding for them. So we have our childcare program, our certified nursing assistant program, and we have our culinary arts program, which consists of our cooking and baking. So they can take both parts or one part so forth. So these programs are structured differently. And so our program coordinator kind of goes through the programs. And so, but these are the programs that we offer free of charge to our students where they can actually get some kind of career pathway. Who is our main audience? I love talking about this. Our main audience, I saw from the poll, we have a lot of ABE instructors, which is great. So hopefully this program can extend over, but our main audience that we've been focusing on for the last year and a half now, going into about 2 years, we're so excited, is our English as a second language. So we've been focusing on that in our adult education program. I want to talk a little bit now about our recruitment strategies. So let me tell you how the program kind of changed and it kind of shifted when we first started the program. So our recruitment strategies, our in-person recruitment, we start off in our ESL department. And we start off with the basic level and it goes all the way up to level 5, which is our more advanced students. So I can only talk to the higher students when I go in to advise and try to get them ready to move forward in their careers. So I start off, as my slide says, with level 4 and level 5 classes. I go in, I talk to them. I talk about our different programs, see where the interests are. So then I move on, like I said, to level 5. And then also we did some community advertising in the community and with the schools, because our actual programs were in the public school systems, a lot of them, and we have some actual buildings where we have our programs as well, but they were in the public school system. So I would go in there and talk to these students, and of course, student referrals. But now, since we have been converted to the virtual world and most of our learning is done through the virtual environment, now I'm so excited because I'm still able to advise and go on virtual links, whether it be our Blackboard system, our Zoom system, whatever platforms approved. I go in there and I'm able to still talk to level 4 and 5 classes to get them elevated, to talk about our programs that they can actually do for them to actually get a career. And so, of course, and then we reach out to some students who we've had before, since we're now virtual, to see if we can advertise that way. Now, recently this year, I've just added some higher level 3 classes where we can actually go inside those level 3 classes, because we do sometimes have students who are a little bit higher at that level 3 level. So we go in there and talk to them as well. And so hopefully we can get student referrals and move on, and all of this works out. And so far it's been great. And that's why I want to highlight the childcare program in just a few seconds. So what is it all about? It's all about connecting students, helping them continue to learn English, obtaining the right credentials. Where do they want to go after this? How can we move them forward? Maybe to college, maybe to our continuing education side to get more certificates, and maybe to move on to a job. And within that job, there's other jobs that they can do. So securing their employment with a career path of interest. So we want to make sure that they're really interested in this, and this is really something they want to do. And of course, consistent employment for the future. We want to make sure that we're setting them up for success. How does it happen? Again, I'll retract just a little bit. It happens through advising, going in, talking to students, giving them more information. Then we do a needs assessment. We go back to the needs assessment, see what they really were interested in. If they can't do one of our programs that we offer for free, then we can send them on to another department to maybe they can get something else that they're interested in. We build partnerships, meaning that we may have to talk to our continuing education department, because the childcare actual program did come from that department. We partner with our continuing education department to actually make this program happen, to move students further and hopefully move them on to careers within this field. So then we develop a curriculum. We get a curriculum started about what does it look like? We go by the rules, the regulations that we have to have for the actual program. And then we get together, we talk about it and do it. And we also partner in that English component as well. Because remember, they're still learning English while they're learning a career. So of course, getting the right teachers, we have to have a content teacher and an ESL teacher. So the content teacher, subject matter teacher who knows all about the subject, who's been credentialed in the subject. And we also pair in that English teacher who's there to help them with their English as well. So then I'm going to go down to that second to the last bullet that talks about students attending a career exploration class. When we first started these programs, we had different classes, okay? And we started off, childcare was added. We started off with CNA, the Certified Nursing Assistant, and also our culinary arts. So students would go to our career exploration class. They would sit in this class and we would talk about different careers. Teachers did an amazing job. Then after that class was over in about 6 weeks, students would be branched off to go into the career of their choice, where they chose CNA, where they chose childcare. And that's how we kind of got our students for the program. And we made sure that their interest was there, which led on to a wonderful career path. And so the students who are in these programs, they're moving forward to their career paths. So now let me get down to business and go in and talk about childcare. And we added a new component this year, our family business class, okay, which can help them go on to maybe opening up their own business. So let's get down to it and go into what we can actually talk about for the childcare program specifically.
I have a quick question. So,
Sure.
so regarding your career exploration class, is that now transitioned to remote? Like, are you hosting that remotely now?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are doing that now. And we are, thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for helping me out in this training. We are doing that now. And we are partnered with Burlington English, which they still learn English and they do that. So yes, students are still going through that program. Okay, but now what's happening, I think it's Jenna, who I'm speaking to now. What's happening, Jenna, is we already have lists developed. When we first started, we didn't know where these students wanted to go or where to put them. So we just had to throw a class out there and say, hey, are you interested in this free class? Come take it. It's going to learn about careers. Now we're expanding that through Burlington English, where they are really learning about other careers. Now we have the ones that we have that are free, that they can take that way, but we also have other careers that they can expand. And I know we have someone from John Hopkins coming in talking to them, so they can learn about other things, but then we can move forward because we're constantly trying to make other programs of interest to the students so we can offer them more things. So that, yes, so we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Everything is virtual. So I'm going to show you just how awesome the virtual world has been. I told Jenna, don't worry about the polling. I want to stay focused, and I want to also show you some actual samples of some things here, especially a learning environment that the students have sent. One student said, we have different things. I'm going to show you one where students talking and she really got into it. And this student has actually moved on to a job. That's why I'm going to highlight the ones who I know have moved on in their careers. So, all right, so I'll move forward. Okay, so what is career exploration? So thank you, Jenna, segued me right on into this. Okay, what is career exploration? This is where they're gonna kind of explore. So I have a couple of pictures of different things they can explore. And I added this last little picture as a treat. I got a lot of students who this year when I went out to advise, they're interested in auto mechanics. So maybe we can try to find something in that and partner with our actual partners at the community college to see if we can get a program started for that. So I'll be talking to my coordinator about that. She didn't know that was coming. So but here we go. So, but these are some programs that we've done. So career exploration, they're going to explore, see what their interest is, and hopefully they say right on into that field. Okay, so let's get down to it. Testing and commitment. Okay. So once the students actually take that career exploration class and we know where they want to go, or we have a list and we know where they're going to go, we do have to give them some type of test. Okay, testing has changed just a little bit this year, but normally they take the Casas 85R and they take a test to just get in. They have to score 220 or higher. In our CNA program, it's a little bit higher, but we work with the students with that. Then they fill out a registration form and sign an agreement. And so on that registration form, we let them know this is your agreement saying you're going to commit, because we tell them up front how long the class will be, their willingness to do it. And I'm not going to lie to you, you're going to see the percentages and the retention rate, which has been very phenomenal, especially in the childcare program. So going back to the childcare program and how it's organized. So we do cohorts, okay? And so we keep the students together so they kind of go through the program together and finish. So a little bit of information, by the time they really finish the program, they have about 224 hours of instruction, okay? But the classes are normally on Wednesdays and Thursdays. A few Saturdays have to be sprinkled in. So by them having 2 teachers, we kind of pull them back in, help them with vocabulary, make sure they really, really understand it. So they're preparing to pass the test, the major test in each class, really, really hard because they have two teachers that are there to support them to make sure they understand. So this is a sample schedule that I've provided, like April to June. They take two classes. So every semester, about 2 months, they take about 2 classes. Now they do have to take this first class first, this 45-hour child growth and development class that has to go first. Everyone has to have that class. And after that, they can take the other classes. So we do that. And this year, which I'm very excited about, when they get to the end, we have added in that 12-hour resume and interviewing class, which is, we're starting that. I have a class right now going on with that. We just finished the cover letter and resume. Phenomenal. They're working on it. They're getting it so they can be prepared when they really want to go out and get that job. This is just a sample. And I know Jenna's going to put all this up. Okay, so when the students are finished, what do students receive? They're going to receive 6 certificates, okay, and they get all of them, and they usually get them in this order. And so once the students get all the certificates, they're ready to go out. They can work with children from birth to age 12, so they're ready to go out in a child care facility, okay? And so they can start off as an aide, work their way up to an assistant and a lead teacher. And by us now adding the family child care modules, a lot of them are getting started to open up their family child care businesses because they've had experience working with children, so they can do that. And hopefully when the schools open back up, they can work in before and after school programs, gyms, anything like that to help the children. So they can work with those birth to age 12. So it's very, 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 very important that they can do that. So that's a little example I want to show you there. So how is the program supported? Let me just go back and recap. Students continue to learn English. So when we get these students, we tell them, you still learn English. They're learning English the whole time as whether they're taking the courses. Then the cover letter and resume help that I've talked about, that's a new addition that has gone very, very well. Students, some of them don't even know what it is. So this is introducing them to them, and they're actually going to finish an actual completed cover letter and resume when they finish the classes. And of course, they're getting interviewing skills this Friday night. Hopefully no one will tell me they want to come in, but if you do, I'll let you in. I'm good like that. But in the interviewing skills class, I actually have a person coming in this actual Friday to that class to help them with interviewing skills. And we're going to do a mock interview, and she's going to be interviewed. I'll be the director interviewing her for a position, and we're going to teach them some skills, and they're going to practice in the class on Friday, but this class is finishing up. And of course, again, as I always say, the content teacher and the ESL teacher, they get the teacher who knows all about it, and they get that ESL teacher to make sure they're really, really understanding. So I like to keep saying that because, these programs are still supported. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about co-teaching and about the experience that I've kind of had with co-teaching and how co-teaching has been really, really good and how it really has worked for this program. Because in a normal environment, you may just have one teacher, but they come in knowing they don't need the extra help, hopefully, but some students still need that support. But in this environment, the co-teaching part has been very, very good and very, very received by the students. The students respect, and they know they have two teachers. They learn from both of us. We do groups, all those types of things. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the co-teaching. So the positive effects that I've had so far, okay, students continue to learn and understand vocabulary, more opportunities for them to learn, okay? Then we have increased student retention rates, meaning that yes, the students are coming. You have two teachers to make sure that we're keeping them motivated, keeping them coming, keeping them engaged in this. Students have more engagement time, meaning that when they go to groups, they have two teachers who can go in and out of the groups to help them to make sure they're really understanding. And just the diversity of instructional styles. Me and the teacher I teach with, we have two different styles in the way we teach, the way we do things, and they can learn the different styles so they can get used to different people, different instructors as they move forward. And of course, I love the last bullet, student teacher ratio reduced, which allows more time with the students. So we don't have to have as many, I don't have to have all 25, which is our normal actual capacity, 25. I don't have to have all 25 by myself. I can have someone else helping me while I'm engaging the students, and she's engaging the students, and we just kind of work together. So the highlighted success is the students are ready more for a job. We can give them more vocabulary, they're learning more, and they can focus more in groups. And what we found out, especially with our last two cohorts, one cohort is completely finished, one is finishing in December. which you'll see. So what we found out is by them doing the group activities, it's really getting them more engaged to open up and talk. Because when they go out into the real world, they're going to have to engage with everybody and talk to everybody. So it's giving them that sense of confidence to be confident as they move forward. So we're really excited about that. I'll pause right here, Jenna. I'm talking a lot in case we have any questions. I see some chats. Let's see.
No, I wanted to explore that co-teaching comment a little bit, mostly because I think that that can be really challenging with different personalities. So how do you guys navigate who teaches how much of each class and determining who works together for what?
With the co-teaching?
Yes.
Okay, no worries. What we do is before we even started the classes, we sat down, okay? And of course, I'm the instructor for the Childcare program, so I know the subject matter. So we sat down, we have a big, nice book, and we went through components. And I told her which parts that I would be teaching first. And I asked her, okay, so what do you feel comfortable with going back and doing this? So with us, it works very well that when she gets them in groups, she goes back and she reteaches to certain groups. And so what we've done is in every class, any class you teach, you're going to know that you're going to have lower students and higher students. So after about the first 2 weeks of class, we've already figured it out. And so she starts off in those lower groups where she goes in and she helps them more and more to really understand. And then we kind of mix the students up in diversity. But what we do, a typical night of teaching would be me starting off with the lecture, and then she moves forward. So let me go back and recap that a little bit. What we start off is the first 30 minutes of class, they review what they've learned the last class. She goes in and she talks about vocabulary, what was said, what they learned. And then I come in and I make sure everything is clear, make sure they really understand. Do I have to go back? I ask her, do I have to go back and reteach anything? So we get that all straight. If I have to go back and reteach a concept, I do. If not, we move on. I do the lecture part, and after the lecture part comes, we normally have a video with a discussion, and then she goes in the groups, talks about that. I go in at the groups and talks about that. Then she comes back and we talk about the groups. She gives them a little scenario. Like I'll give you an example, and we actually got observed doing this one, so hopefully this one was great. So we had to do something about puppets. They had to design a puppet and talk about why puppets are very beneficial for children. And we learned all about what puppets can do, all about why we need them. And so she had to do a short lesson on puppets after I gave the lecture, gave them what they could do, go back, make sure you understand. She gave a short lecture on puppets and what puppets can do. And then as the students, the next activity was that they had to create a puppet. So then they all opened up their camera, showed their puppets, and we checked to make sure that they really understood what they were talking about and that they really learned in that actual setting. And that helped us go back. So what we normally do, I start the lecture. She does the review. She asks questions. I do the lecture for the day. And then we do the video. She recaps and talks about the video. So we kind of go back and forth. Okay. When we first started, I was doing more of the lecture because, again, I was the content teacher who knew. So I had to get her comfortable with actually knowing enough on some of the subject matters. And then, of course, if she's not really comfortable with a subject, because I am doing childcare, I go back and reiterate to make sure they really understand it. So basically, every lesson has at least 8 to 10 vocabulary words that they learn. So she really, really focuses on the vocabulary. So
that's great.
That's kind of how we do it. Hopefully I didn't give you too much, but
no, that's perfect. I'm thinking about reiterating the goal of them bettering their English in conjunction to learning the skill. So that's fabulous. We have a really good question from Peg also. How many students are in a cohort? I know you're going to walk through that in a little bit.
Yes. And just so she'll know, Peg, there are 25 students in each cohort, about 25 students in each cohort. I have been very, very diligent. I mean, I like having a lot of students, but I have narrowed it down. We have 25 students in each cohort so we can make it feasible and make sure that we get all the students in and they get the instruction that they need. Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. All right, so I'll move forward. So childcare and family business, I just want to talk a little bit about, we got stuck. And so we started this great program, lots of extra support. It was wonderful. It's still wonderful, but COVID hit. And so we had to change some things a little bit. So let me go here. Okay, so this is the adaptation that I'm going to talk about a little bit. Okay, so I'm very happy to say that the cohorts did remain the same. We were still able to keep 25 students. And before, they were in class, the books, they get the books free of charge, and the books were just given to them in class. But now we had to change it. Books were mailed, okay? And all work was submitted online. So the success has been great. The books have been mailed. I had to go and make sure that one student got one, but for the most part, it's been phenomenal. So everything just worked like it was supposed to. So let me go a little bit about how we had to adapt it. I'm going to tell you a little story. Well, the students now, of course, these students now, take in mind, they're learning English and they're learning a career, which is childcare, to move forward. So then when COVID hit, we had to add a virtual tool that a lot of them were not introduced to, didn't even know. I knew something about it, but did I know a whole lot? No, I had to study myself. So now, since we've adapted it and they've learned the tool, learned the information, these are some key bullets that I've seen. Work has been uploaded, submitted online. The same things that they would do in person, they are doing online, submitted, taking pictures, because everyone, I built on their strengths to encourage them, because I knew that everyone knew how to take a picture. So I'm going to show you an environment today where I was just like amazed. I had to reach out to the student and say, how did you do that? So they were able to submit this work and do this work and submit it online, okay? Then we incorporated the breakout rooms. We did a lot of different group studies in the class where they would do things, bring materials. We would talk about a subject, they would do it. I'm thinking about my first cohort. That was the one that was mostly with us in person. But now we're doing the breakout rooms for engagement. Now I really thought, oh my gosh, I can't get them to turn the cameras on. But when we got in there and we engaged them, because it was that touchy feeling, like we can't see anybody, we can't touch. It was a different feel. But once we got them acclimated and they all felt comfortable, it was phenomenal how they would just go in the breakout rooms for engagement. And now they're even asking for it. Can we go to a breakout room to talk more about that subject? So this is really good. Then just like Jenna did here with the actual polling, we added some polling for some knowledge checks, which was terrific. So I do that after going back to what Jenna asked, very great question. After I do an actual session, sometimes I'll do like a 1-question knowledge check. We even have a student that she wants to get them all right in one cohort. So we gave her a name, the 100%er. And so she's excited, she gets everybody pumped up. So after about so much of the lecture, we'll add a knowledge check to see if they really did learn something. And then we can kind of gauge if we need to go back and reteach or what we need to do going forward. So that's been working. And of course, we added Google Classroom and some other different things. And so Google Classroom seems to be the easiest way for them to get in and for grading and collaboration. And so they're able to respond, upload work and things like that. So the adaptation was a process at first, because we started about 2 weeks later. After we started, after we got sent home, we started about 2 weeks later getting them done. And I will admit, I'll be the first to admit, I was on a small Chromebook trying to make this work. I had to do some improvements, but we got it going by the second week of class and students were engaged and ready to go on. So the adaptation worked. And so we just try to make it like a real classroom environment online. So that was the adaptation that we had to do for that part. All right. So Jenna, do I have any questions? I'll move on and talk about the percentages and keep it going.
Nope, you're good to go, Toya.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, so now I just want to talk about some percentages, completion rates, percentages by cohorts, and employment. So this is where, I want to talk a little bit more to give you a little bit of the background, the research that we have so far, and we're continuing to research. So here we go. Now, we started off with the first cohort. I told you that the cohorts have about 25 students. That's when I kind of was like, no, LaToya, bring it down. But we were able to go ahead and graduate 33, the first one. So now we have it down to 25. Our cohort 3 has one extra person, only because that person did have a little bit of knowledge, had taken one of the classes before. So she was able to just come in that way. But we, our first cohort finished in September 2020. The second cohort, they're going to finish December 2020. They are on track. All students are ready. So they have 2 more classes. And cohort 3 projected to finish in March 2021. So really phenomenal, keeping the cohorts together, encouraging each other. And so we're really excited to say that this has worked very, very well. All right, percentages by cohort. Percentages by cohort. All right. All right, I'm seeing some questions. Okay. Oh, how long does it take a person to get through each entire cohort? Okay, very good question. The program for childcare is about 6 months. It's about 6 months, okay? So in the previous slide, like I said, they take 2 classes at a time, and each class is about 2 months. So it takes about 6 months to get through the whole cohort. So our group that's starting in April, they will finish by September. So it takes about 6 months to get them through a cohort to finish all the necessary classes required to finish the whole thing. Good question. Thank you. I'm sorry, Jen, am I supposed to be, I'm on Zoom. Okay, great. They're saying great. Awesome. I'm up here looking at the questions. Okay, so percentages by cohort. So we've had 91% to finish. Now the first cohort did start with more than the 33. That's when we kind of had to say, no, we're gonna narrow it down. So we lost a few, but we did complete with 91%. All right, cohort 2, I expected to finish 97%. So I said expected, but they will finish because they have 2 more classes. And cohort 3, 98% is expected to finish. And you know, I will say this, cohort 1 started with us in person. And the only difference I can tell you I see is the bonding, the interaction, but cohorts 2 and 3, it was a little bit harder to get them started at first because you're on a computer system, you're on the computer, you're talking. But once the teachers, we opened up and showed that we were energetic and all of that, the students just kind of flocked together, and now you would never ever know the difference. So hopefully when all this passes, we can meet up. I'll show you some pictures of the first cohort. We can all meet up and, you know, say, hey, how you doing? And bring some things in that they've uploaded. So that'll be great. But now you can't even tell the difference. I mean, we're on there just like we're in person, having fun, learning, of course, at the same time, but on break times where, you know, they're doing things that's keeping everybody engaged. So it's just really, really encouraging. All right. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about this because we're excited, especially during the month of COVID. Okay, especially during the month of COVID. Or the year of COVID. So we have employment. So one student, she's working at the military base program. So I have partnered up and sent that to the coordinator. We do work with our military bases around. So let me tell you, these certificates they get are mostly for people in Maryland. They mostly can use them in the state of Maryland, okay, through Office of Childcare. That's what they're based out of. But when they take them to the military bases, it's actually phenomenal. They have an actual module program that they make them go through. But if they have these certificates, they're actually taking these certificates and they may not have to do as much as their program. And they're hiring them. And some of them can make up to $23, $24 an hour. So it's a good opportunity. So I am waiting because I know that they're saying in the new year, they're supposed to have some more openings to send out to students so they can apply. So that's really, really good that we have one student that's already there working at a military base program and doing well and phenomenal. So also we have one student, she's continuing her education. She took this and from Puerto Rico, phenomenal student, and she already had some things there. She took this as continued education. She's worked for the District of Columbia Public Schools, and they said, hey, by the way, can she take this program? That's why it's awesome, because this can go towards her stuff. So she's already a teacher there. I just talked to her this weekend, and she's working, and she's moved on to get her master's degree. So I didn't even know that. So that's something I'll have to update. That was phenomenal to hear that. Then one student, she's going to Prince George's Public Schools in the state of Maryland. She's working there. So she was able to take these for continued education as well. And then we have one student, which I'm very, very excited about. She's actually secured a job at the Goddard School in Bowie. She just reached out to me yesterday. She's trying to go on to get her child development associate. That's like the next step before the associate's degree, because her center's saying, hey, you're ready to get this. And usually they make them work about a year excuse me, before they let them go on to get that. So that was really, really phenomenal. So we're trying to get her started on their next career path as well, so she can continue to move up and get more money and move up in the field. And this new cohort that I told you is graduating in December. We have two that already started the process to open up their family childcare. So this is great. So hopefully they're doing that. One's looking for a house now where she can get her basement and everything right. So she was sending me information saying someone's already contacted her on what to do. So that's awesome as well. And of course, we have several students still seeking employment. They're reaching out every day. So we keep on trying to move them forward in their career. So this is good information. All right, let me see if I have any chat questions. Oh, thank you, Denise, thank you. All right, thank you. All right, so we're continuing. So what's next? This is one of my favorite parts here. What is next? Because we don't want to just leave them out there. We don't want to leave them out there. So what's next? Well, I started with college. Okay, work towards a child development associate. That is a nationally recognized credential through the different states, and different states require different things for childcare. But when they get the child development associate, they can get an infant and toddler one, a preschool one. They have one for family childcare and home visitor. So they can get different ones, but they have to get the ones specific to their age group. So usually when they finish these programs, if they are really, really working in a childcare center, the directors will recommend, hey, go out and get this for a specific reason. So it's the step before like getting your associate's degree, then moving on to your bachelor's. So it's showing that they can move up in their career choice. And usually for the CDA, they do get paid more money. So it's a very good thing to have. So then they can move to their associate's or their bachelor's degree in the education field, move on to an advanced degree, and obtain other teacher certifications for different things that they might want to do. And so some of the job opportunities, as you saw, I've had two already: public school teacher in the public school system. So I know one lady, she didn't go through our program, but she was even telling me, LaToya, that when I was reaching out, they could become reading specialists, et cetera, in the public school system, even lead to a principal. So depending on how far they want to go, but these certificates will at least start them in the career and help them advance to move on up to where they can go and, be education field. As me and Jenna was joking earlier, we know we're not going to be billionaires in the field, but it's a field of compassion, and you can move up to where you can make a decent living. So very good information. And of course, business ownership. That's one of the ones that's dear to my heart because, hey, I'm still teaching them in the class that they just finished with that second cohort. I told them, look, this is, you make your own prices. We went through some budgets, different things that we had to do. I had some guest speakers come in and talk a little bit about different things. One came in and talked about her family childcare business. So it's really, really good. So we've told them that. And so they start off with a family childcare, which is about, which you can have 8 children if you're licensed for that many, but there could be stipulations depending on what they license you for and what you have and how your environment and your house is set up in your basement and things like that. But they can move on to a larger family childcare where they can get up to 12 children and make more money possibly. So just starting this, become a director owner of their own childcare center. I've seen it happen. So with this program, they can actually move up and get credentials to do all these different things. So many, many different avenues that they can move into. All right, Jen, I'll stop for a second for questions before I go to success story.
I have a question, and I guess I was thinking, like, where's the best place to ask this? So I've noticed we have a number of people who are in corrections visiting with us today. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, do you guys, childcare itself obviously has some stipulations, but do you serve justice involved students, or are they, do you point them into different career pathways? Like, I guess, how do you guide your students who have been justice involved?
Okay, I haven't had any that have been there, but if we do get them and they're able to do the field, then we would guide them basically the same way to move up. Of course, they will be on a pathway, and we would kind of see what we have to do to make sure that they can go in that, if make sure there's nothing stopping them from doing that. So I haven't had that actual different thing there, so I would have to reach out for you. But if we did have that, as long as they're approved and they can still work and things like that, then we would just move them through the program, knowing that could be a barrier. So.
Great. No, I mean, that's exactly what you want to hear, that you're, not putting people through a training that wouldn't be fruitful for them professionally. So thank you.
Exactly. That's when my wonderful coordinator comes in, and I send her the list, and they screen them to make sure. Because, once they go into the field, they have to have a high school diploma. We have to work on, you got to be legal, all those kinds of things. So we do have to screen for that to make sure that they can be elevated. So yeah, we do that. And if this can't work, we lead them somewhere else that can. So we don't try to turn anybody down. We try to do the best thing we can to move them forward. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, see a chat.
Oh, we have one more from Denise. In the beginning of the session, you mentioned a needs assessment. Can you talk about what information is included in that assessment?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Denise. That's a very good question. The needs assessment, when they go through the career exploration classes, we give them like a little survey that talks about what they want to do and all these different things to try to assess. Like when we did the first one, the first cohort, we had 5 questions, and like one question consisted of, where do you want to go in the future? what, you're here in America, what do you want to do next? And then we kind of look at that needs assessment to see where they want to go. Like a test you take, like I just took one yesterday called Standout, something to kind of see where your passion is. And so if more of them lead to, hey, I want to do this, do that, then we tell them about that. So when I go into the classes to advise, I ask them like where their interests are. So we are developing an actual new needs assessment on interest so we can develop new programs, because you see, we only have 3 right now, but we're trying to add more and more and more. So that needs assessment tells us to do that. So my coordinator will be getting some more questions for me to hopefully do a new needs assessment. But when we first started, it was a little sketchy, and we just had like 5 questions, but we were just like, okay, we don't really know, let's just see. So one question was, hey, why are you taking English classes? And if they put something on the needs assessment, like I'm taking English classes to improve my English, go to college, things like that. The next question will be, what kind of career choice are you looking into? And so we kind of just took those questions and we kind of compiled and started looking at the students who turned them in through like a Google Docs or something like that. And then we started calling them, asking them more information. And that's when we came up with that career exploration class to say, okay, well, hey, we have this class available. And we always highlight, you will continue to learn English, but while you're learning English, you may learn about what these other fields are talking about. So we talked about that. And now from that needs assessment, that's why we have this career exploration with Burlington English, because they can explore many careers. And so we may not always have those careers for free, but at least they can explore many careers. And if they want to go to a different path, we can help them get there, even if they don't take our free classes. So it's kind of how we started. So we're still working a little bit more to add that, because we want to just keep attracting students for what they really want to do, not for just what we want to do.
Okay, I have a question for you, Toya. So PG is a fairly large institution. Is PG the provider of most of the career training, or do you do external partnerships to provide the training as well?
Well, I know in childcare, now I'm going to go back. I know in the new career exploration class, I know that we partnered with Johns Hopkins, and they're coming in to talk about different careers and different job opportunities they have. Okay. Now, culinary arts, we have a chef that comes in. So we partner with, of course, we no one there can cook. We have to go out and get that chef, but we always have our English teachers who come from PGCC. And I'll be the first to admit, my program got a double whammy, a double greatness, or whatever we want to call it, because I'm actually an ESL teacher, and I actually do childcare as well, because I came from the public school system. I was a teacher. So they basically got 2 ESL teachers, but I take on the role as a subject matter expert. But culinary arts, we get a chef. So we partner with other institutions to get that chef. And then we actually have my program, and we actually have the CNA. Of course, we have to get someone who's certified in that. And so if the college has those people that are certified in that, then of course we take them, but we do partner to pull people in and hire them as well. But the ESL teacher mostly comes here from our hired teachers here. But good question. Good question. Yes. Oh, thank you. Got me thinking here. Yes. Oh, and Rebecca said they're baking them some good stuff in their homes. Yeah, I should go eat. Maybe we should include that at the end of childcare where I can eat too. So good questions. Okay, Jenna, any other questions?
No, you're good to go.
Okay. All right, so some success stories, guys. I got my little napkin or tissue over here, so I'm gonna be good. But this is dear to my heart. So when things are dear to your heart, you may shed a few tears here. So bear with me here. All right. All right, student success comments. Okay, these are actual comments that came from students that have told me it's okay, sign a waiver. So I'm going to share this with you. Of course, the teacher I work with, her name is Miss Eunice. One student said, after I completed the program, I felt more confident to do things. I was motivated to move on and apply for a job. And this student has received a job, which is great. I did it, Miss LaToya. The Goddard School hired me. Sorry. And so just to see students move forward, and this student on the second bullet, she applied for 3 jobs and did not get hired. And she almost lost a little bit of, how can I say, a little bit of her enthusiasm. But when she got hired, she got motivated again. So it was very, very good. Very, very good. Okay. I'm looking for a house to open my business. I'm starting the process. So yes, this student is actually starting it, and she's actually put in the application to Office of Childcare. So we're excited. And thank you, Ms. LaToya and Ms. Eunice, for believing in us. We could not do it without you, the best teachers ever. So it's really good to see the comments come back. As you see, I'm tearing up because I'm remembering. So very, very good. This is a very good success story. So I'm going to move on so I can keep myself together. Okay. And this is a student success story. I'm going to try to tell this one in a normal voice, but this one is a student who just signed a waiver. She was in our first cohort. In our first cohort, she started in person, but what happened is she had a tragedy happen, so she had to go home. She did finish the first class and she did start the second class, but it was about a week after the second class started that we were sent home because of what's going on with COVID and things like that. So she got stuck in El Salvador, and they put all the lockdowns on. So this is when we tried to get everything started online. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if she's gonna finish. She's in El Salvador, I don't know what she has. But she finished the first class, emergency happened here. Classes resumed online, and she was able to get her connection to actually work and connect to our link online. So needless to say, very, 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 very good story. She was able to finish the class, and she completed everything else from El Salvador online to finish the program. So very good success story. So she did finish, one of the top students in the class. So really, really good. Wanted to share her story. And we had a student voiceover in the student classroom, but I'm going to the voiceover. I don't think it was going to come through clearly, but I have a student classroom to show you. So I'm going to share that with you here of a student. So let's go up here. Some different grading here. So they have to submit all their work. This student she went above and beyond with the voiceover. She was able, after each class, especially the classes after they take child growth and development, they have what's called our subject matter classes, basically. So they have like an infant and toddler medicine materials, a preschool medicine materials. So they get the preschool medicine materials first after child growth and development. And then they get the school age medicine materials. And so after each one of those classes, they have to create an environment to show everything they've learned. So this is part, let me see if I can make it a little bigger. Can everybody see it? Jenna, can you see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. So this is her environment that she created, like an actual classroom. Okay, this is a preschool environment. I'm showing you her preschool environment. She created this one, but I want to show you because she actually did a voiceover to walk us through it. So hopefully I find the right one. Just really phenomenal. Okay, I think that's the wrong one. So she uploaded several to show us here. So hopefully I'll get it to play. Okay, that's not the right one. Hold on one second. I'm gonna get this thing to play. Okay, here we go.
This is my preschool environment. As you can see here, we have the door, the office, the interactive whiteboard that is showing us that we are in a preschool environment. Here is the science area. Next to it is the storage area, then the literacy area and the cozy corner. Here we also have the circle area, the sensory area, and the technology area, or the technology center. Over here it is the art area, the earring area. Over here is the block building area. Here is the gross motor area where the children can throw these small balls over the can. Here is the music area. Here is the dramatic play area and the small manipulative and mathematics. And here are the bathrooms. This is my preschool environment.
So this student was extremely creative, and she, even in dramatic play area, we're used to seeing what do you call it? the refrigerator, the stove, all of that. And so we talked about things and, you know, just certain things in the environment. And so when she did her environment, she told me that's why she had in her dramatic play, the different little teddy bears and things like that. And she told me that was her study unit that she was doing. They do lesson planning, all of these different things. And so it's just really, really great. And she was one of the ones I picked because her thing was done completely online. She was never in the in-person class. So I just wanted to show you all that. All right, then I'll show you some pictures of this is our first cohort that was in person. Okay, so this is our first cohort. Excited. This is the one of 33 people that graduated. And it's amazing because after this, they all had to go back online and we were able to retain and graduate every single person. And so we had after the first class, we had a great photographer, Danuka, who came in and took a couple of pictures. And then we actually had them she invited her daughter in to do some of the activities that we actually did have for children to do. And her daughter really enjoyed the activities. And so, of course, we had a little bit of food there. You know, the kid couldn't lose any weight inside. I don't think I'm doing any here either. But so this is just some pictures to show you that of a cohort that did go through of students that were extremely excited. So just wanted to share a few little pictures here. I'm sure we'll put them up. So good. We're excited about that. Okay. All right. So any questions? Yes, questions. I'm completed. Just wanted to show you. So hopefully you enjoyed the presentation. I only got a little tear out, so it's okay. But this is great presentation. So I'm glad that you all listened to me and hopefully I inspired someone. Hi, Jenna.
I'll welcome me back. I'm thinking I'm going to need your contacts information or that student's information so I can think of some activities for my daughter. She was detailed. That was wonderful. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she's in class Friday night. Very, very good student. I know she's going to move forward. I know she is ambitious.
Yes, Rebecca, LaToya, you're a superstar. I think that this is, it's incredible the passion that you bring to this, so that, you know, really comes through. So thank you so much for sharing all of this. And I wanted to make sure that it's said, if anyone had any questions, and I know Denise had asked questions about the assessment specifically, Toya and Rebecca are very open to sharing the materials and all that kind of stuff. So if you have any specific questions, reach out to me or to Toya, and, you know, we'll happily help you answer your questions if you're looking to develop an IET within your program. This one specifically falls into the IELCE realm because they're working with ESL students, but this could easily be translated to an ABE environment. So I hope that this was able to generate some ideas for you within your own programs. So with that all said, after you guys close your browser today, you will get a link for a feedback survey, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat here. Hold on. Of course, I happened to close it by accident. We'll also provide proof of participation for attending these sessions. It can be found on our website, but also that will be in the, you'll get an email that confirms it as well. And it's one link that goes out for everything. So thank you guys so much for attending today. We hope you learned something, or at least could feel Toya's passion. But I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you at other sessions at the Virtual Training Institute.
Yes. Thank you, Jenna.
No problem.
Good comment. So I feel good.
Yeah, you did great. You did great. Thank you guys. See lots of thank yous coming through. Have a wonderful day, Toya.
You too. Thank you, Jenna. Have a great rest of. Thank you so much. You have a good one.
Bye-bye.